Blog Talk Radio.
This is Recovery Radio Fresno with Louis Angel. Today, we have a very special guest from Fresno, California. Her name is Tillie, and she will be telling us her story about how she overcame many years of abuse involving sexual abuse, physical abuse, drug abuse, and lots of other things. But she has a story of strength and survival that is definitely going to encourage a lot of people out there who are struggling with the same issues to gather the strength to change. So, Tillie, welcome to the show.
Hi, Louis. Thank you for having me. It'll be a pleasure to talk to you and to tell my story.
All right, that's excellent. I'm really glad that you have taken this opportunity to share with the world what it's like to go through these struggles as a human being, but to overcome these struggles and still have the courage to gain the strength to move forward, which is very tough, and there's a lot of people out there, a lot of men and women who are struggling with these issues, and it's my hope that somebody will hear your story tonight and gather the strength to pick up a phone and leave that relationship, stop doing drugs, and change. So Tillie, all you.
Oh, hi. My name is Tillie. I've gone through a hard, rough road since I was the age of 5, as I can remember. Shortly after my mom died, I come from Mexico. I was born in Xochimilco, but I was raised in Morelia for my first 5 years of life, and shortly after that, my mom passed away. My father showed up and kind of took us to bring us into the United States. But before I guess shortly right after, a couple of weeks, not even from what I can recall or remember, my first sexual abuse started. And then after that, my father brought us to the state. I lived in a small little town called Huron, and where I lived there with my father, he also had other men living there. They were all field workers, kind of thing. So from there, there was an uncle there that he took advantage and did what he did. But it started with my father first, from what I recall. He'd come home drunk, and he'd beat us. And then sometimes he'd come home and just be drunk, and we'd be asleep already. And then when he did what he did, sexually abused me on that one night, I recall I woke up my sister and told her, and we got up and we ran to this one church in the middle of the night. I have no idea what time it was, but we went to, in front of the church, there's this house. These people lived in there, and their last names were Chivira, and they owned some of the little grocery stores in town, and we knew them, so that's the only person at the time and moment that I trusted. We ran to their house and let them know. Finally, I had to go back home, and, well, we got whooped for that. And then about 3 weeks later, I recall going into, on my way to a laundromat. I had all my clothes, like in a wheelbarrow or something, pushing that across town. I was probably about 6, 7. I believe I was in kindergarten or first grade already. When that happened, this man just came out of nowhere and said, "Would you like a wagon? I could get you a wagon. Just come with me, bring this stuff." And I didn't know what to do, so I did, and he took me into a garage, and, well, he did what he did. He sexually abused me there. He raped me. So all these men have raped me by the time I was 7 years old. I ended up in, getting called into the principal's office at school where the police department sergeant, he was there, and they took on the case, took us immediately from that school, brought me into Fresno. That's how I was introduced to Fresno. I ended up in the hospital because I had infections at the time. I didn't even know. Just from all of this. And that was the hardest thing. But shortly after that, then they put me in a foster home. So this is by the time I'm in second, third grade. And the foster home, I mean, it's sad to say that, and sometimes, you know, the system can fail a person, and then a lot of times the system is there to help a person. But I think back then it was a little bit harder how the system was set up. And I believe it works. It's just there's always something. The foster home that I was put in, this man, Mr. DeLeon, him and his wife, they owned 40 acres of land that consisted of all almond trees. And in that foster home, they had us harvesting and taking care of that land for them. And when we didn't do the work properly or things like that, they used to like physically abuse us, beat us, hit us, stalk us, kick us. It didn't matter. It was like we were just the little slaves or something, hardworking at that. So I learned how to just be strong about it, and I think no matter what, I always had a smile on my face. Just hiding it, hiding the pain. It took a while. It took me 4 years to speak up. And finally, when I did speak up, we were removed from there. We were, and then they placed us in my second foster home 4 years later, by the time I was in 7th grade. And that was like heaven. Like these people, they just had so much respect and so much love to give. It's funny because they had already raised 8 children of their own and like 6 foster children already that had aged out of the system. And that's how much love these people had. And as an adult, once I had all 5 of my children, you know, it was funny. I went back and looked for both of my foster parents, which was the DeLeons, and I did confront him. I was strong when it came to that because I looked at my children like, this is not something I wanted for them. And I did confront this man and went on about that. And whether he laughed about it or not, to me, I at least got that out of my system. Sometimes you got to stand up and confront the demons that you have left behind, from my father to my foster dad. And then I did put a mission on myself, and I did look for Betty and Jim. These people were so great in my life. They impacted me with love, taught me what morals and values could be and should be. And I did. I got to go see them, and they got to meet my children. And I just told them thank you for being the people that they were. And that's how I, you know, got things going with my kids. They were very young at the time. I was married. My husband, we had a lot of issues in our marriage. I have 5 children from this man, and I just didn't know he was cheating on me the whole time I was with them, 6 years that I was with them, and towards the last few years, and once the confrontations, because I was so quiet and I was always so scared of confrontation when I was with him that I just always, like, I was the person that sat in the corner, or if we went to go visit someone, I was the person that sat at the edge of the couch, like, not towards the people and try to conversate with them or anything like that. I was just that person that just sat there alone, and everybody else, like, life went on, you know. And then with him, it got to the point where that physical abuse started. Little by little, I kept leaving him every time I was pregnant just to have a good pregnancy, a healthy pregnancy. That was with my 2 oldest. With my 3rd son, with my 3rd child, I was with him the whole time, the whole 9 months. And then shortly after that, we kind of split up again, and I ended up coming back. And the first night I came back, he wanted to leave and go to the bars, the clubs,